If you ask the internet how to start learning machine learning, you get the exact same answer every time. Take Andrew Ng's famous Coursera class. And it is an incredibly well-taught class. But if your actual goal is to get a job as a machine learning engineer, that specific course teaches you maybe 30% of what you will actually do day to day. Production machine learning is the core of my daily work at Amazon. I've spent hundreds of hours coaching engineers, and I see the exact same knowledge gap over and over again. So I went through more than 50 financially accessible machine learning courses to weed out the fluff. I narrowed it down to the 5 specific options that actually teach the functional skills required to ship working models. To understand the options, look at this quadrant chart. Machine learning education is split into 2 halves. Up the side is algorithmic theory, the math behind how models learn. Across the bottom is production MLOps, the engineering required to deploy that model. The problem with this standard advice is that most academic courses drop a student right here. They have a deep understanding of the math, but zero ability to push their code to production. You have to stop looking for a single silver bullet course. Instead, you need to identify exactly which side of that chart you are missing and pair these 5 courses to fill your personal gaps. Let's start with the classic theoretical foundation, the updated Python-based Coursera specialization spanning 3 courses. For about $49 a month, you can finish this in 2 to 3 months. The instruction builds up your mathematical intuition step by step. By the end of it, you know exactly how linear regression and basic neural networks actually function under the hood. But here is the one critical trade-off. The course teaches you how to train a model beautifully, and then it simply stops. There is zero content on deployment or MLOps. We're going to track these options on a comparison matrix. You can see Coursera scores exceptionally high on theory, but drops to near 0 for production skills. Now, if you are the kind of person who zones out during passive video lectures, you need an alternative foundation. That brings us to DataCamp's algorithms track. This track relies heavily on kinesthetic learning. You watch a short video, then immediately write Python in a browser editor to apply the concept. It keeps your momentum high by forcing you to type. It's massively broad, 26 courses covering everything from PyTorch to distributed ML with Spark, and runs about $35 a month. But just like Coursera, it operates completely within a controlled sandbox. You write code, but don't learn how to package and ship it to a server. Adding DataCamp to our matrix, we see a similar profile to Coursera. Strong algorithm coverage, high interactivity, but completely empty on the production side. Mastering algorithms is only step 1. Whether you pick Coursera or DataCamp for your theory, you are still completely unequipped to ship a real product. To solve that shipping problem, we look to our third option, Made with ML. It is completely free and built by an industry veteran who spent years helping Fortune 500 companies ship systems. This course ignores basic math and goes straight into the complete production lifecycle, teaching you to containerize code and orchestrate the entire deployment pipeline. The catch is the format. It is essentially a giant textbook with code notebooks. If you are a beginner trying to learn core algorithms from scratch here, the foundation section is entirely too shallow, and there are no quizzes to check your work. If you need a guided, structured environment to learn deployment, you should look at option 4, DataCamp's 14-course MLOps track. This forces you to physically type out the commands needed to build pipelines, configure Docker, and manage registries with MLflow. In the era of AI coding assistants, building muscle memory by typing out deployment pipelines is highly valuable. Looking at our matrix, these 2 production courses are the exact mirror images of the first 2. They solve the deployment gap, but sacrifice the deep algorithmic theory. And taking these production courses first is dangerous. If you skip the math and jump straight to MLOps, you will end up successfully deploying systems that you do not actually understand. That leaves us with option 5, the only course on the list that manages to tackle both sides. ZoomCamp is a completely free 160-hour gauntlet backed by a massive open-source community. It is the absolute unicorn of this list. It walks you through neural networks, then immediately forces you to package those models and deploy them to serverless architecture. But the barrier to entry is brutal. Unless you catch the live cohort, you get no grades, no peer reviews, and absolutely zero handholding. There is absolutely no friendly browser IDE. You are responsible for manually configuring your Python environment and wrestling with complex Docker setups on your own machine before you can even write a line of code. On the final matrix, ML ZoomCamp covers the whole board. You get theory and production in one place, but you pay for it with intense friction. But honestly, that friction is a feature. Grappling with broken environments and obscure error messages locally is exactly what a real machine learning engineering job feels like. You cannot skip either side of the equation. To actually get hired, your theoretical knowledge has to connect perfectly with your production engineering. Let's use this decision tree to find your exact curriculum match based on how you learn best. If you are the theorist who needs to understand the math from the ground up, you take the left path. You start with Andrew Ng's Coursera class to build your intuition, but you must commit to taking the Made with ML course immediately after to learn how to ship what you just built. If you are the kinesthetic learner who learns by typing, you take the right path. Pairing DataCamp's algorithm track with their MLOps track sacrifices a little bit of deep mathematical theory, but you gain hundreds of hours of raw coding momentum and muscle memory. And if you are the bootstrapper with zero budget and high discipline, you take the center path straight to ML ZoomCamp. Commit fully to the local setup. Use the frustration of configuring your own environment to build the exact technical resilience hiring managers look for. Stop endlessly searching for the single perfect course. Pick the specific tools that fix your exact weak points and get to work.